A message from Don.
Now a message from, you all see a message saying this meeting is being live streamed.
Oh, I forgot
Okay,
about
anyway, this meeting is being live streamed on YouTube by Zoom. And now I'm going to share the screen. And Tori, can you see the screen?
I can. Yes.
There you go. There's your agenda.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is draw everybody's attention to item 1, the determination to continue to hold meetings virtually. This will be true for a couple of months, probably starting in March, not true anymore. Anyway, the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, SPOC, and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, with guidance from the LA City Attorney, did establish that SPOC has the authority to adopt AB 361 findings on behalf of all of the city's neighborhood councils, and to determine that due to the COVID-19 state of emergency, meeting in person would present imminent risk to health and safety or safety of attendees. So this meeting is being conducted virtually pursuant to that directive. And with that, Tori, you're up.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Laura. And I hope we get back in person soon, but I guess we'll be happy with the way we're conducting business as usual now, and looking forward to the day when we can see each other again in person. So I will begin with, I've already welcomed everyone. If anyone else has joined us, welcome. And call to order was at 7:04 p.m. And also, could everybody look at the agenda review? We're going directly into public comment, which is 1 to 2 minutes per person. So if we have any now, we will entertain that. Anything exciting, anything that anyone wants to share, any public comments pertaining to anything other than unhoused placement or availability of housing? Anything else can be discussed other than those 3 items that is actually on the agenda? Marielle?
Nothing specific for public comment.
Okay. Donna, everything going well? Or you have anything to...
Just a little concerned about what happened at the Target downtown.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to go with the idea of dealing with people with emotional problems. And I don't know what I would have done if that was my child, but it's just time that we thought and did a little bit more. This year is going to have to change things.
Yeah.
Because people are unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Thank you for that. That is a concern. That is definitely a concern that we can talk about. I'll elaborate more on that later. Anyone else? Roger, any public comments other than your discussion that you're going to tell us about today?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I had a quick question. This is Freddie. I was curious, what is the status of the 2 housing projects down on Adams, right off of Crenshaw? The 2 large, are they about ready to be housed or opened up, or?
Can I just jump in, Tori? Freddie, that would be discussed under Robin with public comments. You can't get answers.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All righty.
I thought we'll talk about, I'll mention that later too. It pertains to something I talked about today with someone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Well, since everyone's had such a long day, we'll go right into our speaker. Our guest today is Roger Estrada from Council District 10. He's going to talk about the unhoused and placement and availability. And that is something that we need to focus on, as opposed to, this is something I've said for the past 4 years prior to COVID, to most of the audits that we had as volunteers, which we averaged about 200 people per year to do the count. I'm really through with counting people. I'd rather count units, so we can put some of these 80,000 people inside that are willing to go, and coming up with a solution for the remainder. So Roger, with that said, I'd like to introduce Roger Estrada. And thank you, Roger, for all that you do in the community.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Roger Estrada. I'm the homeless deputy for City 10.
Uh-oh.
Office of Miss Heather Hutt, no worries. Quick updates. We've opened up in the last 6 months 2 buildings, 2 of which are already being inhabited. The first one was 5050 Pico. That was a project where HACLA used state funding to purchase a building. That building has 76 units, mostly singles and 1-bedrooms. So they were able to fit families and single families into that building. Half of the people there were people directly from the street, and the other half were people in danger of falling into homelessness. The newest building that we just opened up last Thursday are the Amina apartments over on Pico and Crenshaw. The only downside of that is the parking, but it is what it is. I'd rather have units than parking at this point to house people in. That is a 55 and up only housing project. It is project-based. Mind you, both buildings are project-based, and they both have permanent supportive services on site, which means case management is provided to everybody that lives there. Very nice units. I think that when people think of affordable housing, they think of very liminal properties. These aren't. These are very well designed and very, I'm almost jealous of the inhabitants there, but they deserve it, right? These residents have been through so much. They deserve beautiful views. They deserve beautiful courtyards. They deserve nice rooftop barbecues, and they're getting exactly that. And hopefully they can assimilate sooner rather than later to their new living quarters and enjoy the fruits of our tax money. I know that it's been slow. I know that our tax money is working. We see it. We've had to cut a lot of red tape in order for things to happen. I know that 2023 should be a year where we should see more properties opening up. Unfortunately, I don't have oversight over where properties are right now. I know someone asked a question on the properties on Adams. From what I can tell is they're almost ready to be done. Those should be spring of March from what we see. But very confidently can say that more is being done and more is coming down the pike as far as interim and permanent housing. So we don't foresee anything extreme happening with the new mayor-elect. And when she takes office, hopefully she can bring in more money with her connections to make things more happen in the interim. LA San also needs more help to do their operations. But as of, I think I mentioned this in the last meeting, but CD10 has housed 544 people as of September. We expect that number to be somewhere in the 700s by the end of the year. So that's pretty cool. HOPIX, TPC, People Concern, PATH, and LASA have been very good partners to us in the last year and a half. We've held them a little bit more accountable. We've funded more programs. So that's helped a lot more to see better results and, to make sure that the district's getting the attention it desperately needs. The last thing I want to say before I take questions is we were able to launch last month a mobile clinic over in Lafayette Park. We're going to bring that over to Spot 6 soon. We're having HOPIX fixed locations for that. So the South Central area.
Did you mean to say Spot 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
specifically in our district. So what does this DHS mobile clinic offer? It's
Yeah.
basically a brick and mortar clinic on wheels. It's the first of its kind, being that they're licensed to be able to provide care as simple as wound care all the way up to psychiatric care. They're able to diagnose, and they're also able to give prescriptions and prescribe medication for any kind of health. They're able to also provide ultrasounds on site for female unhoused residents that are pregnant. They're able to offer STI medication. The best part about this clinic is they have an outreach team that goes, picks up medication, comes back and gives it to the unhoused residents where they're met. So that's one of the cool things that we launched. You know, and we're just trying to get as much and hold as much resources as we can for CD10. You know, the councilwoman is looking to elevate our services and elevate what we've done as far as homelessness goes in the next year. Her heart is in it. You know, she has, you know, she's advocated a lot for a lot more to be done than what's been done now. So we're exploring the possibilities of building more affordable housing in CD10. We're exploring, you know, lots for tiny homes or shelters, but I think that the best solution is for permanent housing. Shelters and things like that in the interim tend to, you know, let people fall through the cracks more than anything. So that's where we are as far as the district goes this year. I don't know that much more will happen the rest of the year, but I think it's been a fruitful year. I think it's a year where we've come through with, you know, what we said we would do as far as our street engagement first process. There is a little more enforcement going on now with problematic encampments. And by problematic encampments, I mean repeat offenders, people who are clearly not there because they're homeless, but they're there to perpetuate illegal activity under the cover of a homeless encampment. That's what we're coming across now. We're aware of problematic areas like Jim Gillian Park, Rancho Cienega, Lemur Park. Those are things we're taking care of. In the meantime, we know how to focus our energies there and what we need to do to get things done there. So I'm happy to say we have a better understanding of what's going on in CD10 now. I'm happy to say that we know how to approach it now. We know when to take action, when to give the outreach teams that time that they need, and how to not manipulate, but work with law enforcement in order for them to do the work they need to do without having to cause more trauma on top of people who don't need to go through that trauma.
Right.
So, you know, I have the next 15 minutes for questions, and then I got to go to my next one. So
what was the first park you mentioned?
the first park that I mentioned was Jim Gillian Park.
And then Lemert, and what else?
Lemert and Rancho Cienega.
Rancho Cienega. Okay. And really quick, when you said about you launching a mobile unit, where is that unit? Because then you said you plan to launch one in Spot 6. Where's this first one?
The first one right now was in Lafayette Park.
Oh, Lafayette. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And the other one will be closer to CD10?
Well, it's in Lafayette Park, which is in CD10. The other one will be in South Central area, which we call Spot 6. Definitely in CD10 as well, yes.
Okay, South Central.
Nuriel, I see your hand up.
Yeah, actually, a question about the mobile unit, the medical units. Are these folks employed through the county, or are they employed by the council district?
No, the county. This is a Department of
DHS.
Yes.
Okay, it's a DHS project. Okay, very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, if you don't mind, Roger, if you could send me contact information for any for those folks. I'm also a health professional at LA County, so I'm happy to help them out and add resources if they need it.
Right.
You know,
Mariel's actually a medical physician.
Nuriel, I'm about to go on vacation as of tomorrow. Can I leave my information in the chat and you can email me your information?
Perfect. Yeah.
So I can get you in contact with them?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, my email address will be in the chat.
Right. Yeah. Well, send them mine as well, Roger, from a legal standpoint for confidentiality and privacy for patients. That's my
Yeah, we don't discuss any of that information over. Yeah, we don't have access to it anyway. So.
Right. Okay. Another thing. Any other questions, Freddie? Oh, as far as the question Freddie said about Adams and Crenshaw, remember when we did our walkthrough I ran into one of the guys today who was supposed to have a surgery done, and they postponed it for whatever reason. So he is supposedly already been allocated one of the units in the apartment at Adams and Crenshaw
Mhm.
through one of the agencies. So when you were saying all the agencies, you're using abbreviations. So for the audience's sake, could you tell them about the agencies that you use acronyms for?
Oh, the people concerned.
Yeah, People's Concern was PC, and Hopics.
Hopics has a long name, and forgive me for not knowing it.
Well, it's Homeless Outreach Program. Look, integrated services. But anyway, it's for
Comprehensive services.
yeah, strictly for the homeless placement. And then LASA, we all
It's
know,
the Los Angeles Homeless
Service
Services
Authority.
Authority.
That's the Service Authority. And then you mentioned another one.
The other one that we work with is PATH. That's People Assisting the
Oh.
Homeless.
Yeah, PATH.
They're in charge of building homes.
Yes, and I interviewed some of the people along Madison years ago, and the way they structured that was all the people that were lined up right there were guaranteed one of the units at the new building that they were making along Vermont. So I thought that was a good idea because a lot of them get anxiety when they have to go to a place by themselves. And I'm experiencing that with one of the ladies that I work with on a daily basis. She's had her voucher for at least 4 or 5 months now, and she's dragging it out. And every time it's almost time for her to move, she gets this anxiety attack. So day before yesterday, they put her furniture in her apartment and everything, and they was trying to clean out her room, her interim housing room. She had to go to the hospital again. So it's like, oh my God. So there's got to be a transitional period there where you explain to them or get them in-home supportive care or put them close to someone they know. Because otherwise they back out there all alone and no one's really sat down with them on how daily living, how you're going to function, how you're going to clean, how you're going to do this. So those that need in-home supportive care, we should get in-home supportive care on board too. One on 8th Street. So
Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, I think that, piggybacking on what Tori said, I think that the most important thing that we want to focus on, beyond holding landlords accountable for taking in more vouchers, I think people miss the point where not everybody's ready to be housed.
Right.
So we need permanent supportive housing. We need to advocate for that to basically be at every one of these new buildings that we open up because people have a hard time assimilating to their new surroundings. I remember as a case manager in Skid Row, and this is going to sound a little, maybe I want to say performative, but it's not. It really did happen. We had a few clients that just did not feel comfortable sleeping in a room, and they asked the room to be basically mocked as if they were on the sidewalk with a tent and a shopping cart and something that made them feel like they shouldn't be rewarded, maybe because of how their past was, maybe because of the things they've done. But they had a sense of, okay, maybe this will work. And little by little, you keep working with them, you keep providing therapy for them, they start understanding that they shouldn't feel guilt for the way that they're living, for what they got, guilt for whoever they know that's still on the street, little things like that. So, Laura, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah. Roger, do you happen to know the status of the Clifford Beers project on St. Andrews?
I don't know.
That would also be 22 units of basically for almost a permanent supportive.
I do not. So that's another thing that, we want to work on is have the housing authority give us better information. It's like pulling teeth with these people. Because
this is not a housing authority project. This is former community redevelopment agency
Do
property.
you know who it's run by?
I'm sorry?
Do you know who who runs it or who's in charge of it?
Well, the developer is Clifford Beers, and I don't know who the city contact is, though. And Clifford Beers is not a person, it's an organization.
Right. But Roger,
Correct. Yeah.
what was the address you said, Laura?
1808
18.
South St. Andrews. And I'm looking, I mean, I can see on the building permit side, they're slowly moving along, right? Slowly.
I know that.
slowly.
Okay, 1808. Yes, that sounds familiar. On South St. Andrews.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The leasing people that are going to run that project is Hoppix.
Ah,
Okay.
Yes.
so Hoppix is the leasing agent.
Yeah, they have the master lease on that project.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be
And-
running it and they'll be providing the supportive services there.
Interesting, because there's one on King between Budlong and Vermont, I believe. Now, I actually went on a tour for that one, and Mark was in charge of it at the time. Mark Ridley for the council district. And that was a Clifford Beers unit. And I don't know if it's still full or not. I would like to see if we can have a person create a position or something to hold these units accountable. How do you know how many is empty? How many you know?
So and that's one of the things that a lot of people have approached us with. We don't know, right? Because like this project wasn't under the housing authority, but like other projects, if we work with organizations like Hoppix, we can hold them accountable. They do report to us. They do provide us with that information. They do provide us with vacancies, with move-ins, with all this stuff. Expect that name to be more familiar and to be around more in the next coming years. They do work closely with making sure that units are subsidized, making sure that these units don't stay vacant long enough, because what's happening is the sooner we build, the more units are available, the more money that's going to run out. So what Hoppix is doing is getting ahead of the curve and trying to secure subsidies for these units so that they don't sit vacant for too long. So get used to that name. And, they've shown that, unlike other organizations that I won't mention just out of professionalism,
We already know.
they are willing to be transparent. They are willing to come to the table and say, these are the numbers. This is what we got. This is what's happening, which we need in order for us to be able to know what to do. One of the other things that has come up, and I mentioned it, is the lack of support from landlords to take these vouchers because of the stigmatism applied to them.
Right.
Not everybody who has these emergency housing vouchers is chronically homeless, as some of them have, barely falling into homelessness. So the councilwoman wants to run a motion soon to investigate these landlords and investigate how we can hold them accountable and how we can penalize them for not taking these vouchers.
Well, can we have a meeting with Heather? I'd like to sit down and have a meeting with Heather because I have a solution for that.
Yeah, anything and everything that, we can hear what is welcome at this point, because the outreach teams are tired of waiting. The outreach teams are tired of filling out applications and getting denied.
Right. And then the voucher expires.
Correct. So on that part, we've had luck extending the vouchers, so that hasn't been an issue. But we have to have, lease up is a program that works well, but these units on lease up don't even last a day. Sometimes they get taken up, so quickly because there's so little of them.
Right.
So those are the challenges that we still face.
Okay, so you're saying the extensions are better now? They can get extensions, because I used to
Yeah,
get
the extensions haven't been an issue. They haven't presented any challenges.
Yeah, appreciate that, because I used to have to call around and get people's vouchers extended, and then in the meantime, they could have been in their house already,
Correct.
So that's something that I'm gonna work with the landlords on as far as being a intermediary. So when Heather gets back, Roger, see if you can plan to sit down and we want to meet with Reggie Jones Sawyer as well, because he's heading up some solutions for homelessness also.
Yeah, Tori, do me a favor and send me, because I have to present it to our chief of staff as well. Send me
Okay,
bullet points of what you want to talk to her about so we can formalize it and
right.
put it on the calendar.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Any other questions for Roger?
Before I leave,
Well, Roger, when you taking a walkthrough with us?
I'll be back on the 5th, so we can plan something that week.
Okay, back on the 5th?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Okay, so when you get back, we'll look at a couple of days and we'll plan another walkthrough
Yes,
around
of course.
the area. Okay? And follow up.
Of course. So
Okay.
everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
On
and
that
we'll-
note,
Take
you
care,
guys should
Roger.
start seeing, yes, you guys should start seeing information next week from field deputies detailing the information of our turkey giveaway on the 14th.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a first come, first serve kind of thing. So on the 28th, the phone lines will be open so that you can call in and reserve your spot. The giveaway will be at Rancho Cienega on the 14th.
Okay. Rancho Cienega. So what do they need to do? Just call into the office?
Call into the office on the 28th. There'll be a specific number, so you can try calling the main office next week to see if that information is available. Unfortunately, I won't be in, but you can try calling. I know the Monday after Thanksgiving, which is the 28th, I believe.
Right.
Yes, that number should be up and for reservations to be made.
What's that direct line?
The direct line for the office, I don't have. I don't, yeah. I usually just give my number away, but let me see if I can.
And we don't be calling you. We don't want to be calling you.
Oh no, my line will be off. It's 213. I'll put it in the chat box as well. It's 213
Uh-huh.
473
Uh-huh.
7010.
Oh, the same number. Okay, I
Yes.
thought you had another number there.
Yes, they'll be able to give you information next week on what the phone number will be for the turkey giveaway.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Have
Have a good
a
night.
happy holiday.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I told you I ran into one of the guys, and he has a possibility of getting one of the units already accounted for. So Freddie, a lot of times when the buildings are in development, then you can get the applications before the developments are finished. And that's what I usually do periodically. Like if it's for 55 and over or 62 and over, then that helps. But these units are supposed to allocate 10 to 15% for very low income. And see, there's no one holding anyone accountable for that. So that's another area that I want to talk to the council and the assembly districts about. So they can put some institutions, some instructions, some policies and procedure in place so that can be done.
Yeah, I've been driving by a lot and just seeing that they're still, look like they're still working on them, but I was just curious how long it's going to take before they're actually done.
Yeah.
And I guess that'll be around March or something. I think that's what I heard was March.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Somebody just walked in. I was like, ooh. Okay. So
So that's kind of what I wanted to know. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussions or solutions that we need? We're gonna do round robin. Donna, Freddie, do you wanna give us any information or questions or anything?
That was my only question. Thank you.
That was that. Okay, Donna. Donna. She went somewhere. Neriel.
No updates from me. If we want to, I probably can't do it in December, but if we want to keep a bookmark for the January agenda, we can take a look through the homeless census results and look at CD10 and just get a better sense of the demographics of the homelessness in our council district.
Yeah, we can do that. CD, so that'll be a topic and focus.
Yeah, I could just put together like 10-minute, highlights of what was in the census, what the numbers are, what the demographics are. At least for me, it's a helpful way to understand what's going on.
You want to do that presentation? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it.
I know you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I'm offering. I'm offering I can do it.
Okay, and that's what we'll put. And you're getting that data from LASA.
Yeah, exactly. So we can talk about all of the reasons why, why data is great and why data is not great, and what they have and what they don't have. Yeah, so we can talk about all that. But it'll be so I think they released it, maybe a month or two ago, and so I think it's useful at least to take a look. Yeah, I think it's useful at least to look at the data.
Yeah, which is way off because it's usually released May, June.
Yep.
So I don't know what took them so long this time and how more accurate it could be. But the goal for CD10 is to eliminate homelessness. That's the goal. And so with all these units coming up, we need to see how we can change the way they do things, because that is obviously not working. Because we still have about 80,000 that's reported as homeless, and we talk of city and county, because I don't know how the lines of delineation are set, to differentiate between the two when the people are mobile, So we have to see how we can be of assistance to that. What else? That would be good. That'd be a good topic of discussion. What else? Who else is on, Laura? I can't tell. Participants.
Donna has her hand up.
Yes, Donna. Oh, I can see it now.
What about possibly having someone talk about the Care Court program?
Oh, Care Court. Okay. Care Court. Okay, I can look into that because one of the girls was talking about that last week, and they said it works. Oh, I said, oh, good. So yeah, I'll look that up. Okay. When I get back, I'll do that tonight or tomorrow. I'll keep you posted on that. Maybe we can do that for December and do Nariel for January 2023. Woo. Another year. Let's be happy. Okay, Laura, I see your hand. Go ahead, Laura.
Well, I'm wondering if, I know him, but I know you know him. You had invited Kim Watson to one of the meetings a while back. He's the filmmaker and photographer who's among his passions, as opposed to the way you're living, is he's photographing people who are not housed. He's doing photo documentary.
Oh yeah.
And he had talked about it, but I would love to see if he would do a photo presentation, because his work is really beautiful, but you have to go out onto the internet to find it. So and when I say his work is really beautiful, he has a really good eye, but the people he is photographing are really beautiful in his photos.
Yeah, I saw that.
But when he came before, he just kind of talked about it. He didn't actually have a slideshow. So I would love to see him give us a slideshow.
Yeah, that would be good. Do you have a contact for him?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives a block from me.
Oh, well, could you reach out to him and see if
I can. I just didn't want to do it without your permission.
Oh, no, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can have him give me a call.
Sure.
Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. And anything else, Jackie?
Oh, hi, Tori. It's Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm from Area 3, EQUA, Neighborhood Council. So, this has just been a wonderful session. And I've gotten a lot of information that I can share with some of our stakeholders live in CD10.
Right.
So this has been very enlightening, and I'm also from BCCLA, so I have received a lot of information this evening. So thank you for inviting me.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, you learned some acronyms and stuff.
Yeah, at least acronyms. That was good.
And you learned that there are a lot of people that have to be acclimated to be housed because they're not necessarily sure that's what they want to do yet.
I see that. Yeah, I learned that too tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And other than that, any round robin, anything you wanted to share with the group that you're doing some research on as far as homelessness is concerned? Jacqueline? Jackie? Uh-oh.
Yes, what was your question?
I said, did you want to share with the group some of the research, some insight that you're working on or that you're learning regarding homelessness, or that compassion is necessary, that patience is necessary, or what is it that you've learned through your research so far?
Well, what I have learned is that the people like this neighborhood council is forward thinking,
right,
on homelessness, and is taking direct action,
right,
on homelessness. And you know, a lot of people sort of wait around for this to happen or that to happen, but this neighborhood council seems to be active. And you know, I haven't formally been active with the homelessness project. But I could see that it needs just people on the ground. It needs soldiers to really help it.
Yes, that's for sure.
So thank you for the inspiration.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate the assistance and the interest, you know.
And Black Community Clergy Labor Alliance is looking for an educational program. So we'll just start right here. Thanks, Tori.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. But everyone, it's been an interesting week for me because, like I was saying, we have a lady, she has a voucher. She has a beautiful apartment waiting for her. But every time it's time to move, she has an anxiety attack. She goes to the hospital. She comes back and she piddles around, putting her clothes together to move out. You know, we don't pressure them to move out because they have up to 3 years really to stay there without looking for anything. But that's not the goal. The goal is to keep rotating one out, because the goal is to get your permanent housing. But like I said before, not everyone is stabilized enough to live on their own. And they really need caregivers. And we need to bring in the in-home supportive housing group into the midst of all of this, because a lot of them do need in-home supportive housing. I mean, it'd be for the smallest thing of making up your bed or taking your medicine or anything, they need help. And somebody needs to check on them periodically, at least once or twice or 3 times a week. And so that anxiety is really real. And so we want to help them along as best we can with daily living. And I'm pretty good at seeing where their gaps lie and how to help them along the way to be able to move. Even if I have to say, oh, we'll come visit you every now and then, you know, and they say, oh, please do, you know, because I really think they need a neighbor in the same building with them that they're used to being around. I think that's one of the solutions that's necessary, because otherwise they have no one to talk to unless they have their service pets, and a lot of them do have service animals for their mental capacity. So that's one of the things that needs to be worked on. But out of the 60 or so women that we have, probably about 11 of them are not ready yet. They're not ready to be in permanent supportive housing yet. They need their case management and their psychological reviews and data, and to see if they ever will be ready to live on their own. Because a lot will not be ready. So, but we just have to keep having hope and keep helping them and keep seeing, where they can improve and get rid of the trauma, try to alleviate some of the trauma that they've endured in their lives. So that's where a lot of them are right now. And so it takes us to have that compassion and understand that their mentality is a whole nother reality than ours. And you just do the best you can with appeasing them and allowing them to be able to relax and try to be able to sleep and lead a normal life. So that's that for now. But I'm trying to think of, is there any old business that we needed to address? Donna, some of the landlord issues that we were speaking of, that's what I'm gonna bring up to Heather and Reggie, some of those solutions as well. So we have about 2 or 3 solid solutions that we could work with the city council to make a difference in the whole process. And I meant to mention to Roger, the agency that he spoke of, they sometimes are slow with their reimbursements for people that have committed to having housing in multiple shared living homes. But I know a couple of them have lost it waiting on the checks for from the agencies that are supposed to support the housing. So hopefully things are getting better and their process are becoming streamlined. I know they just moved into a new building, so maybe that has something to do with it, but we gotta be better, because if people are signing up to have shared living homes, then they need to be on time, in time, to help them with sustainability. Any caller in user 1, would you like to identify yourself? Do you have any questions? Laura, you know who that is?
I do know.
You do not? Okay. If there's not any more questions or concerns or solutions, we will adjourn the meeting, and until December, we will plan to have CD10 census. Was that December? Yeah. Nuriel, who is medical.
I think he said January.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
can do it in
right?
January. Yeah, January.
Okay, I got care court for December, and I do have January for Nuriel right here. Nuriel, January, make that a real J. Okay, so December we'll try to go with care court, and also CD10 census will be January, which will be very interesting dialogue right there, because if we could just take it a council district at a time and try to eliminate. Right now, I don't think, matter of fact, I pretty much know that Skid Row is an entity within themselves. So that'll be totally separate from the council districts, but that's where the Wine Guard, we have one of our old church members who's over the Wine Guard now. And so I'm gonna be in communication with him to see if he could be one of our speakers early next year in the first quarter. And because every time I pass there, there's a line. I don't know what type of services they're offering them on a daily basis, but I know the Women's Center is offering food every day, hot meals 3 times a day for the women. So there's some good services down there, but it's just so many people. So I think last time they did the count for that, Skid Row was count all unto itself. It wasn't even separated up with the maps like we had in the council districts. So that's a whole nother situation. But I do believe that if if I showed them a process, we could split this homelessness in half. We really could if we had the cooperation, because they won't understand the process until they see the results. And that's just how some of them are. But if they could understand and work the process that I could lay out, we could be 50% better off. I'm sure of it. Absolutely. And so we just need to figure out how to work with our leadership and see if they are not using this for personal resources and they really want to make a difference. And that's what we got to find out. If they really want to solve this issue, it can be done. A lot of people are sent here from different states. A lot of people from the snow are coming out here. And when they come out here, they're getting helped quicker than the people that have been homeless here 5 to 10 years. So, and I've seen that happen. I don't know if they're just in the right place at the right time when they get selected to be for permanent supportive housing, but it's happening. So it's a lot of moving parts to this homelessness, and you got to understand. So I know Karen and Rick came and looked at some of the housing. Thank you, Neriel. I'll see you in December. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Karen and Rick came and looked at some of the issues, but see, they seeing it from a superficial point of view, and they only see it from what the leadership of those organizations show them. They're not seeing the inside of what really happens that go on in a daily basis. So it's like a bird's eye view. It's not the real deal unless you're there and you sit down and talk to somebody about some of the issues that are actually going on. When both of them came, I left. I didn't talk to neither one of them. So I want to see, and that's one thing that company did, is they wanted a scripted messaging. They didn't want any other questions mentioned to them, so I was like, I thought that was kind of odd, but I said, okay, we'll let that go, and we'll see what happens. If we get to talk to Karen and see if we can come up with some solutions that will work. But I appreciate each of you, and we're gonna make CD10 homeless or unhoused free. That's the goal. So, any other questions? Okay, well, we got to hold these developers accountable and make sure that the units are available. Okay, Laura, it is.
Thank you, Tori.
What time is it?
7:53.
We're 7 minutes ahead of schedule, which is wonderful. But I'm trying to think if anything else is going on right now. A lot of, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're gonna look to feed the homelessness. And Miss Ann, how many people have you fed so far? 42,000. Okay, where I am right now is a Project 43 LA. They have fed 42,000 people already. 42,000. I walked in here today, it looked like a grocery store. And they have piles of clothes that people have donated that are beautiful. Oh my God. So it's like she has a lot of action going here. And on December 17th, they will close off the street at Crenshaw and 71st.
Down to Victoria.
All the way to Victoria. And they will feed and clothe anybody that's unhoused, or if you'd like to come shop, and that'll be a part of donations.
And the Christmas party.
They're $3. A lot of the items are $3 to $5, and they are like brand new. So a lot of nonprofits are doing a lot of good work in the community, and I'm just happy to see it in action. So thank you guys. It's 5 minutes to 8 and we're doing good, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And until November, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much, Tori.
Thank you, Tori.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Freddie, Jackie, Donna.
Thank you.
See you guys later. Call in user 1. Okay.
Take
Okay,
care.
Tori, and Donna and Fred, I'm gonna end the meeting.
Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.
Good
Okay.
night.
Good night.
Actually, before I do that, I'm saving the chat.
Okay. Oh,
Now I'm
yes.
gonna end the meeting.